good morning, and welcome to another episode of Reveal and Heal. You know you can't heal if you won't reveal. I'm Coach Deb, and I want to welcome you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an amazing guest this morning, Felicia Harvey, better known as Liberated Lisa. Y'all gonna get an opportunity to meet this soul sister. When I tell you she has a story that's going to motivate you, inspire you, and compel you to tell your story. You see, Reveal and Heal is about your truth, your story. So let me just welcome you. You know, we are live on Relationship Lounge YouTube TV channel. It's Motivation Monday, Reveal and Heal podcast. So I want you to go ahead and reach out to your friends and your family and let them know it's Motivation Monday. And they need to come on over here to the YouTube channel so that they can be a part of the conversation. Now, let me just remind you that, the radio show that I have, I'm Not Okay Why, on reallyrealradio.com every Tuesday and Thursday, beginning at 4 p.m. And, we talk about real issues that our community is uncut and raw. We talk about the issues that we're not okay with in our community. And, the conversation, that's the beginning of the healing. We got to talk about the things that we are ashamed of, the things that we're sad about, and the things that we don't want anybody to know. We call them secrets. And as a community, we've got to learn that it's very important to communicate, which we sometimes fall behind on as a community. We don't talk about things, but we act out. So when you see us in our community acting out, we got some issues that we haven't talked about, we haven't faced, and we haven't dealt with. So that's the radio show I'm Not Okay Why on Really Real Radio. And ladies and gentlemen, the real podcast, oh my God, Revealing You, you already know. Y'all need to stay tuned because, Really Real Radio, you can go on the channel, YouTube channel to catch up on all podcasts and Reveal and Heal, broadcasts that you've missed. But you can also do the same thing with Reveal and Heal. We're on Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, on all the major podcast outlets. Yo, I tell you, I just feel blessed that you have the opportunity to be able to listen to these amazing stories. We're talking about 3 years, not just the current stories, but 3 years of stories that you can go back and listen to. I'm not going to delay. I'm about to get it started. This sister is about to share her truth, share her story, and I feel, compelled to allow her to just speak. I'm not going to get in her way. I have a few questions, but I just want her to let God use her. Welcome, Liberated Lisa. I want you to take, your liberty and allow God to use you. Let's first start out with you introducing yourself to these amazing listeners.
Well, hello, and thank you for allowing me to share my voice, share my story, share my passion, and share my pain with you. I present what I have humbly because I know that through my pain and through my journey, it will heal, it will help, it will inspire, it will ignite some things in you that will hopefully free you, allow you to graduate or give birth to the labor and pain that you've been experiencing. I thank God for this platform. I thank God for my ability to put words to the feelings that I have experienced since 1979. So I come to you, I was born May 19, 1972. And unfortunately, the sexual abuse that happened in my life started very early at the tender age of 7. And that abuse started in the church. And yes, because of that abuse, I did question God. I questioned my purpose. I questioned my life. I questioned what purpose did I have in life? What role was I supposed to serve? Who am I? Why me? Why did I experience what I experienced? Yes, I'm married. I've been with my husband 26 years. I'm a mother. And I questioned that too. I questioned if I was even worthy of being a mother, because I was impacted at a young, tender age. And so I always felt like maybe, just maybe, I didn't have the tools to protect a child. And so I never consider myself wholeheartedly as being somebody's mother who was capable of protecting them. And so, yes, my abuse started early on in life, and I carried that abuse with me. Um, I was very callous most of the time. Um, I had respect for people, but I had limitations to where I would go with my respect. Um, but because I questioned God, He also gave me answers. So I went back and I started reading the Word to understand, to get clarity. And I seen lots of things that happened during biblical times that were no different than the things that are happening now. And I said, okay, well, if those folks were up close and personal with the Lord and they experienced something, then who am I? And so once I began to look at things through that lens, I started to heal, if that makes sense. Now, it took a long time now because I'm fast approaching 50, but it was those baby steps, those little droplets, those little experiences, those encounters with what the world would consider the underdogs, folks who were victims of something: domestic violence, sexual abuse, maybe drugs, alcohol, any and all those things, gambling, all those different things, those different vices that put us in a position of being vulnerable. I had the pleasure, and I'm saying pleasure, because I met those people and I still meet those people and they share with me. And that means that they trust me. That means that God put something in me to make them feel welcome to share their stories. And so over the years, I've wrapped those situations, those encounters under my bosom, and I've managed them in a way that they not only served a purpose for the victims, meaning they're allowed to share with me and get it off their chest, but also allow me to process it and understand why I was the chosen one, because I needed to tell the story when others couldn't. And so that's me in a nutshell. That's where my pain comes from, coupled with watching and witnessing domestic violence up close and personal, my family. Um, I unfortunately and fortunately, because there's two sides to that coin, I unfortunately, because of domestic violence, my mother, she moved a lot. So I changed schools 13 times before I actually graduated from high school. I even attended night school before I actually graduated from high school. And I just knew through all of those experiences, coming from a single mother who never graduated from high school, coming from a single father who never graduated from high school, I said, that can't be me. I have to rewrite the story. I don't know how, I don't know when, I'm not even sure what that story will look like, but I know that I have to rewrite the story because this cannot be it. This cannot be it. So again, I surrounded myself around victims, but I also surrounded myself around victors. And I'm coming to you today describing myself as a victor, not because I'm totally free, but I have eased the pain a little bit. I've given myself permission to cry. I've given myself permission to ask questions. I've given myself permission to be vulnerable. I've given myself permission to not be shamed, because one of the things that I know is being a victim, and whatever that looks like, especially with being victimized by way of the church and my experience with the church, you keep secrets. And those secrets are usually held out of shame. And I didn't want to be shamed anymore. I didn't want to walk around with the scarlet letter anymore. I felt like many times when I would walk in the room, I can tell the people who were victims, because it's like something about them and something about me. It was like a magnet. We like attract each other, even if we never say a word. It's like people will say the eyes are the window to the soul. The eyes are the window to the soul. And sometimes when I walk in the room, I can see it, I can feel it, even if there's no exchange of words. And I also know when I see someone weeping, or even when I weep, I know and understand that God knows the language of tears. So even if we don't say a word, we're speaking to each other in a language that only the two of us, or the three of us, or the five of us, or all of us out there in cyber world can understand. So that's me. That's Felicia in a nutshell. The doctor describes me, the coach describes me as Liberated Lisa. And I purposely chose that word because I am liberating myself. Felicia, Felicia is scarred. Felicia is damaged. Felicia feels sad. Felicia feels like a victim. But Liberated Lisa is a victor. She is no longer a victim. Now, will she experience hardship and pain? Yes. But I no longer allow hardship and pain to control me. I am no longer in labor with hardship and pain. I have given birth to that hardship and pain by way of expressing myself, by way of telling my story, by way of letting people hear me and see me. Because no, I don't look like this all the time. I don't even feel like this all the time, but I don't want to wear those scars where it's offensive or make people run away. I have stripes. A zebra has stripes too. I feel pretty. A zebra is pretty too. Do we feel pain? Do we feel vulnerable? Yes. But are we a creature of the Lord? Yes. Are we uniquely made? Yes. And that's who I am in a nutshell.
I appreciate your transparency, and it's very important. It is very important. The topic that the Lord gave me, a woman willing to take a risk, that is so you. And I just want you to be able to share with the people, when you are, you know, bound by shame, and when you don't really feel uh, like moving in a way to where people are going to recognize your scars and recognize being around people that know your past, because they're the ones that are quick to say you think you're this or you're not who you think you are, because they have seen your low places and they don't want to celebrate your high places. Let's talk about that, the risk, because I believe that the Lord gave me this title because you can walk this out. You can really walk this out. A woman willing to take a risk. You have to be a risk taker when you coming from a dark place, because you
Mhm.
got so many people that still putting their feet on you, letting you know, reminding you of your past. Let's talk about that.
Well, so because I moved a lot because of abuse, um, b- establishing relationships can be difficult when you're a moving target. And when you're new at a school, for example, kids pick on you because you're the new kid on the block. And so you always have to prove yourself. And I didn't like fighting. I fought, but I didn't like fighting. And I fought because I needed to protect myself, because my life early on, I was not protected. And so I made it my business that I was no longer going to be hurt and harmed by anyone. And so because of that, I took risks to protect myself even before hardship came upon me. So I was being very proactive versus reactive. And that sometimes is not well received. People don't like you. People, as you mentioned, say you think you're better than, or I remember you when you used to XYZ. They remind you of all those things. And so one of the things that I decided to do with taking a risk was go the opposite way, do opposite of what I was taught. Not that the teachings weren't valid, they were valid at that time, but we have to keep up with times, we have to move, otherwise we wouldn't keep up with or have appreciations for change, like the sun and the moon. They both have purpose, they can't be stagnant, right? And so the risk that I decided to take was everything opposite for the most part that I witnessed through my family, my friends, my aunts and uncles, all those things that I saw that I felt just didn't sit right in my spirit, I did opposite of that. Did I get it right all the time? Absolutely not. Was there some validity to some of the things that they taught us? Yes. But I also know that one of the things that I was beat up with was the Bible. I was beat up with experiences in the church. And I said, okay, my abuse happened in the church. Where was that logic? So in order for me to understand, I had to take a risk by speaking out, but still loving the Lord. I had to take a risk of speaking out about the things in the Bible that made me feel uncomfortable because of the experiences that I've experienced, because of the things that I've experienced, and said, let's talk about it. Not that I'm questioning the Lord in an abusive way or challenging, but I just wanted to gain understanding. So that's a risk when you decide to talk to church folks about the word and it don't necessarily line up with your experience, but you still love the Lord. So I took a risk to say, I know that what your doctrine may very well be 100% valid for you. It just wasn't 100% valid for me at that time. And I also know that one of the risks I had to take was take God out of the box, because we were being much too shallow by putting God in the box in the first place. That was a risk. Wearing this red lipstick, that was a risk. Because in a lot of churches, they would say, red? Oh no, red is a sign of those streetwalkers. And I said,
Jezebel.
I walked a lot of streets, and not because I wanted to, but because the circumstances that I was experiencing, that I was dealing with, being on the street was safer. So I had to go there and take a risk to do opposite, to do things that in most people's eyes were the forbidden fruit, because I needed to free myself and I needed to use my experiences to help somebody else free. So yeah, when I walked the street late at night and I seen what they call the women of the night or the tricks of the night doing their thing, I didn't judge them, because I knew they may too have been running from a situation or a circumstance or something where they said to themselves, this may not be the best, but it's better than that. And so they were choosing the lesser of two evils, and oftentimes I chose the lesser of two evils. That's a risk. That's a risk.
That's real talk.
Yes.
That'll make you sit back and, really ponder and think about choices that you made, because you know how times people make spontaneous choices, right? And they don't think it through. But for you to state that you had to choose between two lesser evils, and your risk was a risk that you could have been harmed, but hoping and praying that you would not be. And while you were trying to stay safe and making poor choices, you've seen many people like you with different stories.
Yes.
And in your heart, you could not judge them because you sort of shared the same story. All of you was running.
All of us were running. Yes.
Oh, that's real.
And some of us were running fast, and some of us was running slow. And through that run, I realized that not all of us are meant to be sprinters. Some of us are meant to be long distance runners, because we have hurdles to cross as we go.
That's that process.
So, yes, yes, yes. That's the journey. And so I mentioned in the beginning, I said, I live my life as if I'm writing my own obituary, because it's true. I don't want people to stand up and say, at my funeral, they say lies. I want them to tell the truth. Did I have scars? Yes. Did I have battle wounds? Yes. But did I have praises and celebrations? Yes. Did I have newsworthy? Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, because I know my yeses outweigh the no's. And I know there are yeses that I haven't even heard yet, because they're sometimes like whispers in the wind. And when you don't open up your ears, you can't hear them. And if your eyes are closed or your lens is blurry, you can't see them. And so now I'm on this quest to open my eyes. That's why I took my glasses off. Open my eyes, open my ears. Be receptive. When I walk outside every day, I take the approach of a dog. And dogs have different connotations, But if you notice the species of the animal, when the dog walk outside, he or she acts as if it's their first time approaching the world. They sniff everything. They may pee on everything. They take notice of everything. They hear everything because they are in tune to what's happening. They are in tune to what's going on. And even if it's a walk that they've gone on time and time again, they still treat it as if it was the first time. Yes, there are trees that they may have peed on multiple times because that's what we do. We mark our territory. And when we leave people with our pain, we're marking our territory. And when we don't go back and share our victorious moments, we didn't mark our territory. So we have to go back. And so that's what I do. I walk outside and I approach the world as if I am that four-legged creature that wants to see, hear, and know what's going on. I want to be conscious. I want to be aware. But at the same time, I want to be the protector. I want to be able to guard my master. I want to be able to guard my master. The people around me, they're also my master. I have a responsibility to protect them because I know better. Because I know better. And so when I don't do that, I'm not living up to my purpose, which is another thing. You know, I've always wondered, because I don't have talents, like I can't draw, can't really sing, can't really dance, like I can't finesse things like that. So I always say, God, well, what am I supposed to do? What's my purpose? What's my gift? What's my talent? And over the years, I've collected things where people would say to me like, oh Lord, you touch my soul. Oh my, I can't believe I don't know what it is about you. I just feel like, and so I realized that God used me as the bone collector. I am collecting because I am building this graveyard of pain so that I can free people. That's my purpose. I am collecting these bones along the way so that I can bury them in a graveyard, because we're not going to forget them. Graveyards are there to memorialize people, but I want to memorialize the pain that the people that I come in contact with can free themselves. And when they look at that pain, they say, that's another strike, but it's okay. I'm okay. I'm more than. I'm no longer less than. I'm worthy. I'm a child of God. I have purpose. I have intent. I have life. I have love. I have responsibilities. I am somebody. No matter what your affliction is, no matter what your pain is, no matter what your experience, no matter what you're dealing with right now, you still have purpose.
That's a good space to be in, Felicia. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know, what is it that you're hoping to um, do for the people that are listening? Thousands of people that are listening to your story. What is it that you're hoping that will take place in their life by you sharing your story, your truth? Can't nobody tell it better than you. People may have their own idea or they may have their own story about a person, but their truth is nothing to compare to when it comes authentically from the person that can tell it best, right? So
Yes.
what are you hoping that your story, your truth will do for the listeners that, hopefully needed to hear this beautiful story?
Yeah. Well, most importantly, I want to inspire the listeners to feel ignited to step out of that comfort zone, even if it's the comfort zone of pain. I want them to feel inspired to step out. You don't have to put your whole foot in the water. You can just let your big toe touch it just a little bit to feel the warmth of what water has to offer, right? I want people to take my story and see this girl who started off as little girl from the byways of Chicago and the roughness and all that goes along with it. The journey of changing schools 13 times, being sexually abused, finding herself in $1 million in debt, making $14.11 an hour, being married, who felt like I was never worthy of being with someone, being a mother who never thought I would be or wanted to be a mother, who had challenges even being a mother. That's the other thing. Physical challenges of being a mother, and I'm a mother. I want them to see all of those things and say, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. If she questions where she stands in life, I'm okay with questioning, because asking questions solicits answers, right? So I want the listeners to ask questions, feel inspired to ask questions, punch pain, right? Pierce the veil of status quo, challenge the norm, be okay with stepping out the box and accepting all of those scars as the physical, literally or internally, physically, the challenges of having those scars, and use them to penetrate change, to change and break generational curses. Because I was sexually abused, my mother was sexually abused, right? And we don't want that to continue. We want people to feel inspired to tell their story, boys and girls, right? Because we know that abuse is abuse. And it doesn't change because it's a male or a female. And sometimes the perpetrator is male, sometimes the perpetrator is female, right? I hear that too. So I want people to put words or even tears to what they're feeling. Be okay with journaling to get it out. Be okay with saying, you know what? I love the Lord. I have a church. I have a village. I have mama. I have daddy. I have big mama. I have my friends, but I also have a licensed trained therapist that I can speak to and get it out without feeling like anybody's going to judge me, second guess me, or any of that. Because sometimes we have to go away from our norm. We have to go away from our community, like Joseph had to do. Joseph was a great man, but nobody could see Joseph's value until he went away and went to another place. Then he felt free. Life in the world was like a blank canvas. I want people to feel that. Be okay with stepping out and going to other places, uncharted territory, so that you can get that blank canvas to create who you are and who you were destined to be. Give birth to that person. No longer live in pain. That's what I want the listeners to take away from this. I want them to see me as one who left my footprints in the sand, right? I want them to leave theirs in the sand.
You know, you sort of answered my final question, because you talked about writing your obituary, and I want you to take this opportunity to share what you want people to say about you, you know, versus what they think. What is your legacy? What is it that you leave, your goal to leave for the people to remember you by?
I want people to, first and foremost, I do not want people to remember me for the work I've done. I don't want people to remember me for my education. I don't want people to remember me for all these tangible things that I've done, because I know that the true healing comes from those non-tangible things. The true benefit and gifts that people have to offer are those non-tangible things. So first and foremost, I don't want people to remember me in that light. I want people to remember me as a person who understood love unconditionally, a person that understood there was a reason why love was the most used word in the Bible, because it had so many meanings. But first and foremost, I want people to know that love, good, bad, or ugly, is factual and is not based on feelings. I want people to remember that I understood that. I want people to know and remember me as one who spreaded goodwill no matter what or where they were in life. I want people to remember me as someone who promoted being a better version of yourself. I wanted people to look at me and remember me as one who challenged the status quo. I want people to remember me as one who welcomed who they were, what they thought they were, and who they've become. I want the people to remember me as being the eraser, meaning I know your past and you know your past, but I know who you are right now. I know who you present, and I also see the gift that you have to offer. So I want people to remember me as the person, the woman who could see past the makeup, could see past the suit and tie, could see past the fancy cars and the six figures and all the money you got in your bank account. I want people to remember me as that one who had that third eye that could see past all of that and still know that there's some beauty there, there's some scars there, but collectively, there's a creation that only God understands, and that I remembered them and made them feel that they were unique and right in their own right. Nothing more and nothing less. That's what I want.
Unique and beautiful, just like you. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for saying yes to coming on and sharing your truth and sharing your story. It has been something that I needed. Hearing other stories, it's good for me. It's medicine to me because I know my story. But when you meet others like you, because see, I meet people that don't look like what they've been through.
Right.
See, that's the work of the Lord.
Yes.
That's the paintbrush of the Lord.
Yes.
When you walk victoriously, but yet you are clear about you've been somewhere.
Yes.
And if it had not been for the Lord on your side, it would be a different story.
Yes.
So I thank you so much for gracing this platform with your truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, it's Motivation Monday. And our thought this morning, let us not be content to wait and see what will happen, but give us the determination to make the right things happen. That Monday motivation quote is by Peter Marshall. And I pray that motivational quote inspire you today to make your Monday great. Once again, Liberated Lisa. That really fits you. Tell the people how they can follow you on social media and how they can reach you if they want you to come and speak. You know, at their church or their seminar or whatever. You know, share with the people so that they can reach out to you.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do that. People can reach me, of course, and you're going to share this with on your other platforms as well.
Absolutely.
But I want people to be able to reach me if their hearts feel connected to me, if they have a story they want to share. My email address is felicia.harvey.fh as in Frank Henry at gmail.com. And I will be launching Dr. Liberated Lisa at gmail.com. So they can reach me on both platforms. Dr. Liberated Lisa at gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram, Liberated Lisa, and I'm on Facebook as Liberated Lisa.
Thank you, Liberated Lisa. Oh my God. Y'all put your hands together and show your love for this beautiful soul. Thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Motivation Monday. It's the Reveal and Heal podcast. Remember, you can heal what you won't reveal. Once again, I'm Coach Deb. Remember to love yourself, love everybody, and be an example. Have an amazing day.